comedians in cars drinking coffee.
Thank you, sir. I feel like I should have gotten you the coffee because you're my guest.
Come again?
I feel like I should have gotten you the coffee.
No, never. I'm just pumped to be here, man. I love range anxiety. Just what you need in a zero emission.
I actually didn't even know that says that. Let's do this. Let's unpack health insurance in New Zealand. New Zealand's got a really good health system.
Yes, they do.
And you've also got ACC as well.
Yes, we do.
And so, does that make health insurance redundant? Like, what does health insurance fit into all this?
Really starting off on the burning angle question.
I know how much you love to just go deep.
I do, and I also like fizzing out big on insurance. So you know me, Mordecai. Thank you. I think the best way to batten that down with a big health insurance hammer is health insurance is about taking the power back. It's about taking the power back, and most human beings that have an appreciation of the benefits of insurance like being in control. Yeah. But these human bodies that we're in, they don't give us the choice all the time. They throw these curveballs at us in terms of these diseases and conditions that render us sometimes laid up for some time. It's about taking the steering wheel back and dictating when and where to get the treatment.
I like that, taking the steering wheel back.
Well, it is. Not that I'm going to do anything in your fine vehicle. All down to time. It's all down to time. Public wait list for the hip at the moment is anything, even if you're super acute, 18 months if you're having a good day, up to 2.5 years.
Yeah.
You're all down to the capacity of the DHB. If you've got that private cover, not only are you dictating when you're going to get fixed, but it's going to cut the queue, I'd say, in half, but that's not as generous enough. It brings it ridiculously forward. So, name your story. It's all down to time frames and how long, within yourself you're prepared to be in sometimes debilitating pain. But everything that goes on from that, pal, which is the stress and anxiety that you have to suffer yourself, and your friends and family also have to wear, as you're not in the best place waiting for this thing to be rectified. Yeah. And in some cases, while still trying to make a living and work, or driving around Christchurch drinking coffee with friends.
Health insurance is personalized, etc., but a super general example of just a black and white picture.
Sure. So, boiling that down to your average journey with adequate health cover, with comprehensive health cover, essentially it's fast tracking you from whatever the presenting symptom is. Let's say most people rock up to the GP, they've got pain in their tummy, they've got pain in their chest. It's the first turn off that you're heading towards a different road with health cover usually heads as soon as you're ejected out of the GP's office, because that road from there saying first stop specialist. The comprehensive health policies cover you for the referral to the specialist, and you just don't look back from that point. So you're already talking about a far quicker road to the specialist, getting to the root of the problem, which in this case is cancer. You've cut your time, for want of a statistic, in half to get to said specialist. Then they're shooting you off to private treatment, whether it's chemo, radiotherapy, possibly cutting the tumour out. Yeah. All of which is happening within a private hospital, not at the whim of the capacity of the public system. More South Pacific nation, right? Yeah. And we're not like a big entity in Europe or across in the States, and a byproduct of that is our drug buying power is a drop in the ocean compared to these bigger countries. And what does that mean for mums and dads and citizens of this country? It means that sometimes we do miss out on best drugs for said condition. Yeah. Pharmac, our national drug buying agency, well, they've only got a certain purse, Mordecai, and when the specialist that you've been hurried off to thanks to your cover then says, you know what, here's this best drug that's going to help you see a better day, but unfortunately it's not funded. These drugs are keeping people alive, they're extending period of life, and for something as simple as comprehensive health policy, none of those dramas are an issue.
Having options,
man,
and speed and flexibility, because I guess if you got a debilitating disease you might not know whether you've got what it's going to look like in 1 week versus in a month's time, and what they can do for your
It's
health.
scary. Humans don't like having the power taken away from us, but diseases like that, and at worst cancer, they have this horrible bent of doing exactly that. You know, finally we can choose not to smoke, we can choose to eat vegetables, we can choose to have a healthy diet and think positive, but the horrible thing about cancer and these serious conditions is that it takes all that power away.
Yeah.
And at least with health, you know, you're taking some of that power back and giving yourself the best chance to be around your family and friends because you're adequately cared for with
A lot of insurance companies have had some major claims to pay out, and are we expecting to see premiums going up, or how does the vaccine fit into all this? What is the next year in health insurance and all that stuff?
Sure.
Not within reason, because I know you can't predict the future, but what do you expect?
There's nothing stark on the horizon here. I mean, we need to realise what we've come through already. You know, if we sat here driving around this beautiful city 3 years ago saying, you know what, the world's about to shut down, we would have laughed at each other. But here we are. We've been through a fair whack already, and on the insurance front, there's been those that have been a little bit skittery on the premium front, but it's the long game here really that we do look at.
Yeah.
Health specifically, no real change afoot from what we can see. They do one thing really well, and that is their primetime job of looking after their clients. In fact, it's almost gone the other way with one of our particular providers, in that they've opened up a promotion to accept pre-existing conditions for a limited time. So if that's a bit of a vote of confidence, I think that's as big a one you're going to get. Nothing stark on the horizon on the wider insurance policies.
Yeah.
There's been some hey, we won't touch you if you're affected by COVID, you know, coming in outside our territory, but that's expected.
How does mental health fit into health insurance?
It's
Is there
really
a space for that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. You just saved a seagull. Well done.
That's my good deed for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about risk management for the insurer. So, look, if there is a proved history there of above the shoulders issues, as we like to call them sometimes, then yeah, there'll be a response from the insurer where you most likely won't get cover for, but it's just another reminder to get cover in place early, or at a time where you're in the best bill of health before those issues occur. But there's always options and solutions available, because at the end of the day, we're all human.
That's true.
And mental health in particular doesn't discriminate. It can get any one of us. So
That's probably the premise of insurance, is you hope you don't need it, but should something happen, you know that you're covered. Because
think before it happens,
yeah,
because stuff does happen, stuff goes wrong, you know. It doesn't always just appear in the newspaper or to your friend's gardener's poor boy's cousin. Stuff happens, and that's the area that we work in.
I didn't know that. I've never actually been on.
See, the things you discover on driving around Christchurch with Mordecai, drinking
Yeah.
coffee.
Oh, but thank you so much, Andy, for your time, and thank you very much for the coffee as well.
You know, I'm always happy to talk about protecting lives and
I'm gonna